Hey guys, welcome back. Here's the video we're going to do to make your orthographic sketch for your keepsake box. So again, this is the keepsake box that we're making, but we need to make a sketch that's going to go in these four categories, or four areas, sorry. But before we do that, we're going to have to make it on Tinkercad. So what I want to do is I want to start by looking at this piece and seeing all the parts. So what we're going to do is we're going to end up making every single part the way we want it to, and then we'll assemble it all together on Tinkercad. So we'll come back to this page as we go. Let's open up Tinkercad. And again, this video is an informational video. You're to interact with it. So pause if you need to, fast forward, back up, so that this will help you to make what you need to on Tinkercad with less stress. So we're going to click New. Hey, that's right next to me. Look at that. We're going to click New. Very cool. We're going to click 3D Design. Ah, very neat. And then it's going to open up this screen. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to change the name of the piece to your Keepsake box, and then your last name, Singha, for me. You can use a different name. Make sure your settings are all set right. We usually have this always set to inches. And then in case we ever 3D print these things, it's always good to have the same design. Dremel 3D 4045. Click Make Default, and we do want it at an 1/8 inch click every time we move something. All right, so let's go ahead and let's make all the parts as it says on here. So the first part that we have here is it says we need a top, 7.5 inches long by 5 inches wide. And we are going to make all our wood to be about a 1/2 inch thick. Okay. So we're going to go here and let's make that base first. So we're going to bring this out. It's all about that base, 7.5 by 5. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to change this to be this. After I click the node, I'm going to click the number here to change it to 5. Tab 7.5. And then again, we're going to change the thickness from 1 inch to 1/2. So that's our top piece. And I'm going to keep that red so I know that that's our top piece. We'll make all the pieces a different color right now. The bottom is a 6.5 by 4 inch. So let's go ahead and make that. I'm going to drag another box out. And this one, I'm going to change a different color to green. And as it said, 6.5 by 4. So we'll click the center node. We'll make that 4. Tab 6.5. And that's going to end up being our center piece. Oh, forgot the thickness, 1/2 inch. So we'll be bringing that back. So I'm just going to zoom out a little bit, and we're going to keep that right there. We then need two short sizes that are 5 by 4. Pull out another box. Let's make the short sizes orange because it's close to one of the other buttons. That's all. So again, they're going to be 5 inches by 4. So let's go ahead and make this 4. Tab 5. And then 1/2 inch, 0.5. And again, we need two of these, so I'm going to do Control C and Control V. Those are our two side pieces. And then lastly are our two long pieces, 6.5 by 4, which is the same as the bottom piece. So I'm going to do a Control C, Control V. The only difference is I'm going to change the color to a blue. And then Control C, Control V one more time. And there we go. Now you guys will be cutting these off one large chunk of wood when we do this. So we'll kind of make like a net, and then we'll kind of put it together. So we're going to do the same thing as we assemble our box here. I'm going to kind of make a net, and then we'll build it together. So we'll put the bottom there. I'll close this out of the way. Top off to the side for now. We're going to put the sides here. Okay. Sorry, I'm just pulling something up on my other computer so I can see how this works. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight these two. I'm going to click L for align. I want them to align to the same corner. Oop. Oh, that's okay. I can just drag this over. I picked the wrong end to align them. But I want to make sure they align perfectly. So that one does, except they did them backwards. So let's put that. I want the side piece next to it. So moving it back and forth sometimes is a little tricky. That's why I usually use my arrows on my keyboard to usually line these up. So I'll get that to line up perfectly. That looks pretty good. And then our sides, we're going to line those up. Okay, that's going to be one side. And then we'll put the other side right up against the base. So, it went in too far. So let's pull it out a little bit. There we go. So that's how it's going to look as it gets assembled. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to bring the tops up. So now what we have to do is we have to rotate these. So I'm going to use the little compass. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. And that fits it straight up. Now, as you can see, it's not perfectly on the same plane. So if you click D on the keyboard, it does bring it up to the base. And then we'll push that up against the base piece there. Same thing here. We're going to click on the compass, change it to 90, click D, and then drag it till it matches the box. Do the short sides. Okay. We'll rotate this up 90, D. We'll put it against the side like that. And then this is also good practice to see how it gets put together. And maybe someone's seeing the little thing I'm going to make you do in here in just a second, but maybe not. So hit 90 for that, D, and then slide it into place so it sits against it. So there's your box. It looks pretty good, right? Maybe you noticed something. So if you went to go to put it together like this, you're going to notice that it's not going to work. So what do we have to do differently? Well, if you look inside the box, okay, we'll center. We don't want to do that. Let's highlight the whole thing and center it. You can see that the box sides fit perfectly on the edge of the base. That's what we want to do. But the short sides, they stick out too much. So there's something we definitely have to do. So we're going to rotate these one more time. I just wanted you to see that if you put it together and go, if this doesn't look right, you got to change something. So we're going to click that compass again, and we're going to change it 90 degrees. Oops, oops, oops. I clicked on everything. I just want to click on that side piece. That I didn't mean to do. That was on accident. So if I click 90 and I click D, it puts it against the floor. Now you can see it flushes really nice. So we'll do that to the other side, and now we're back on track. And this time I won't try to screw up on purpose or on accident. It'll be on purpose if I have to. Click D, and now it's against the bottom. So that's our box. That's how they're going to go together. You can see the long pieces are going to get nails right along the edge here at the bottom, so it goes into the base. And the side pieces, you're going to be putting nails on the sides along on the bottom, along with on the bottom. That's how it's all going to hold together. Or glue. You'll have some options to that too. Okay, so that's how your base looks. Now, so that it doesn't all get funky and goof around on us and we have to fix it later, what we're going to do is we're going to highlight this and we are going to do Control G, or you can click the group button here. And when it does it, it's going to change it all to one color. That's fine with me. That kind of puts it into position. Now, the only other piece that comes in here is the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag the top so that it's perfectly centered at the bottom and then pull it all the way up so it sits right on top of our box like that. Okay, that's how it's going to look. Except we are going to end up doing a little bit of routering so that it sits nice and flush inside the base. So we're going to do a little bit of work here to our top piece so that we have something that looks a little more similar. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this off to the side. I'm going to move this box back here and bring this over just so it's in the way, and click D so it's back on the floor. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to do a little cutout around the outside of the piece of how it's going to look when you put it in the box. We're going to give it a dado cut. So we're going to give it an edge around. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull out a shadow box, and we're going to make this work with the dimensions of our box. So again, the top piece is 7.5 long by 5 inches wide. Okay. The other thing you need to remember is how thick is our wood. Our wood is a 1/2 inch thick. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to change this 1 to 7.5 inches, so it's the length of the wood. Click Tab and do 0.5 for 1/2 inch thickness of our um, of our box. And then the only other thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to change the thickness to this to be real thin. We're just going to do 1/8 of an inch, so 0.125. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to align that piece so it goes right into the top piece like we have here. and we're going to make sure that it's flush to the corner. Okay, you see how I did that and it's flush? What we're going to do is we're going to do that to both sides. We're going to copy and paste, and we're going to drag that piece so it's flush on the other side. Okay, we slide over, we'll see it's nice and flush. Okay, we're going to do that one more time, but with two different dimensions. So again, we said that the top piece is 5 inches in width. So if we click on the box to show that, you can see here that it's 5 inches. So let's bring out another one of those boxes here. And we're going to move so we can see the node here. There we go. So we're going to make that one 5 inches long, tab 0.5 for thickness. And then for the height, again, we're going to change it to 1/8, 0.125. And now that we got that there, we're going to slide that in till it's flush with the corner. With that side, and then we're going to do it to the other side. So I'm going to get me out of the way. Whoa, whoa. And we're going to do a Control C, Control V. And we're going to drag. Sorry. I clicked off the thing that I needed. So now I got to move this out of the way. There it is, Control C. So we copy it. Get that to line up. Control V. You can see it makes another one. We're just going to slide it over here. I'm going to zoom in on that piece. Oop, went too far. There we go. So now this is what we're going to end up doing. Let me move myself out of the way again. We are going to highlight just the top and all the pieces that we just worked on. So I'm going to go here and zoom in on that. So I'm going to take my mouse and I'm going to highlight just the base piece. And now we're going to group it. Control G. Okay, now let me show you what happened. So we're going to drag this back up for the height of the box, which should be 4 inches, I believe. And now if we look underneath, you can see that we have a little dado cut. It kind of goes around the edge of it. So I'm going to slide the box in on top of our workspace. I'm going to move me out of the way. And I am going to take our box and we're going to get it to line up right inside the box that we made. You can see I went a little too high. So I'm just going to drop it down 1/8 of an inch. And there it is. Now, to show you that it sits inside, I'm just going to change this to a hollow hole. And now you can see that the dado cut sits right in there. That's how yours is going to be. Actually, when you make it, we'll make it a little wiggle room so you have some area for change. But this is your box. So I'm not going to group these pieces together because remember, we want the box to be able to move and separate. So we can do that with ours if we were asked to. And actually what I'm going to do, oops, I hit the wrong one, undo. I'm going to click the top piece here and I'm going to just drag it up just a little bit so it sits above the other one. And that's what I'm going to use when I do my sketches. Okay. So when I go to do my orthographic sketch and I pull my snapshots or my screenshots, when I do the top view, we'll center that. Top view, it's going to look like this. But when you go to do your front view, I want to be able to see the gap. So you can see that the box shows a dado cut. When you do your right view, you can see the dado cut there. And when we do our ISO, you can see that there is a gap. Maybe even drag the ISO down a little bit so you can see both parts. So that's what you're going to use to make your orthographic sketches. Okay. If you got any questions on as you're going through this process, or you need to watch the video several times, do so. If you still got questions after watching this a couple times, come see myself. Come see Mr. Harris. We'll help you with this. Okay. Good luck.